Okay, welcome back, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed reading that article. So, to summarize what we read, in the beginning, we talked about Shein and Temu. So they are two huge competitors in the Chinese e-commerce market these days that have gone global. And I'm sure if you use social media and you've been scrolling, there's no way that you haven't had an advertisement for them at least once. So they are marketing themselves as kind of high density, low cost. So mass manufacture, keeping the costs down for consumers as much as possible. So maybe on the outside, that seems like a good thing. But unfortunately, there's a lot of problems that arise from such a business practice. So the first one is that the manufacturers themselves aren't working in the best conditions. They're not making as much profit as you probably think that they are because the costs are so low. And also the working conditions sometimes aren't the best. Maybe if you've seen other news articles in the past that have gone into the factories, maybe the working conditions are really bad. Unfortunately, the factories where a lot of cheap clothing are made, especially around the world, they have been known to collapse because the building structures haven't been that great. And then also the working conditions for the workers themselves also aren't great. Many times they won't be paid fairly for the amount of hours that they put in. Their hours are too long. Sometimes even children or people that are too young to work are enlisted to help in these factories because they want to have the maximum amount of turnover possible. And then also another problem is fast fashion. It's a popular term on social media these days about clothing that follows the trends, is made very quickly, maybe isn't the best quality. So after one or two washes, a button comes off, there's suddenly a hole, and the material isn't that great. So people see the adverts and the pictures that are there and then think, oh, it wasn't actually that great when it arrives. And so it either goes straight into the closet or sometimes even straight into the trash if people aren't environmentally conscious. And so another problem that is also coming from these companies is that the two of them are fighting with each other legally. And so they have opened a series of lawsuits with each other about copyright infringement, trade secrets. So I guess it's quite a hot topic these days about whether these businesses are sustainable both globally and in China because of their business practices and their products, I guess. So my first question for you today, given those ethical considerations that I just mentioned.
A lot to think about, actually.
Do you think that consumers should be shopping from these platforms?
I feel like the correct answer is no. You should not. However, it's really difficult to tell the masses to stop, consuming this,
Right.
using these platforms because it is just so easy.
Yes, right.
And it's difficult to not follow the trends, and a lot of these companies, they do that fast fashion, and so they keep up with the trends, even if the material may be not up to par. But if you don't have that much money to keep up with the trends and get the good materials, then I would still buy from it. So
yes,
I can't tell other people don't do it, and then I'd still probably do it.
That's what happened to me. I resisted buying something from Shein for so long, and then my advertisement came up with something that I had been looking for, so I reluctantly hit checkout.
Yeah, it's like, oh, I don't want to, but I will.
My justification is that I really like the item that came, so I will keep it.
Right.
So it won't end up in the trash. It's okay. So as we mentioned earlier too, our shopping decisions are sometimes made by social media.
Right.
So how do you think the social media affects the shopping habits of consumers?
I think it has a lot to do with it because I would have never known about these platforms if I wasn't scrolling through TikTok or YouTube Shorts or even on Instagram. Sometimes it'll do the ones where you can, flip through. It'll be like 15 choices.
Like the carousel that you can see all the images, yes.
So the first one will be like, oh, this is interesting. So I might start scrolling through that. And then before I know it, I'm in this rabbit hole of like
Scrolling.
very interesting tumblers. And I'm like, oh, I can get one for the office and one for my home and one for on the go. So yeah, you can go, yeah, it does influence. I do say they're doing a great job of influencing me. They got me.
Yes, I agree with you. Yes, I think that social media has this habit of introducing you to companies that you didn't know existed.
And you didn't even need.
Yes, and then because they kind of monitor what you shop for online already, sometimes the advertisements are a little too tailored to the things that you like. So it's hard to say no when you find an item that you like. So we want you guys to consider buying things from Temu and Shein if you want to try them in the future. Make sure that you check out the vocabulary from this unit. Maybe you can incorporate them into your shopping experience in the future and your daily lives. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Meteoric.
Meteoric.
Ascent.
Ascent.
Bear the brunt of something.
Bear the brunt of something.
Detain.
Detain.
Skirmish.
Skirmish.